there we go. Okay, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at my object. I'm going to feel how everything is presented to me. I'm gonna look at it perspective-wise, and I'm gonna just start eyeballing it, okay? So I'm gonna do a curve, because it's a bowl, it's round. Okay, now one thing you might notice is that if I make a line and it's not the right one, I don't erase the line right away. Does anyone want to take a stab as to why that is? Oh, I heard something and then it was really quiet. A little louder. Okay, you might need the line later. That could be it. That's not the reason why I leave it though. Anyone want to take another guess? Yeah, Winnie? So you realize where your mistake went. Absolutely. So I don't know about you guys, but a lot of the time, before I a little bit more drawing, I would often make lines and then I would realize it was wrong and then I would erase it right away, and sometimes I would somehow end up drawing the line in the same spot over and over again. How many times has anyone ever experienced that? Right? And you're like, oh, it's in the exact same place. Why do I keep doing that? It's because you can't see where it was. So you can see here, I don't know how well you can see it. Can you see? There's like several areas where there's multiple lines. And that's because I just couldn't establish like where that was. So there, I feel like that's probably good. Okay, so next step is, because this is a 3D object, it should look 3D. Right now it looks very flat. So I have to establish that there's also a rim here, right? Like it's got like a 3D thing, it's not just a line. So I'm going to establish that there is a little bit of a ridge. Oh, who's using the elevator? Better be a teacher. Okay, he's allowed. All right, are we ready? Okay, so is this starting to look like a bowl? Okay, do you see how I've left these lines here? Okay, now because I'm satisfied with how it looks, I'm gonna start erasing it. I'm gonna use my vinyl eraser here. All right, now I'm gonna take my HB pencil. And this is something that I wish people would have told me when I was younger. Are we ready for this? This is a secret. This is a trade secret. I'm going to use the flat part of the pencil. I'm not going to use the tip of the pencil. The tip of the pencil I use for details and fine points and when I want lines to be visible. Because we are drawing an actual 3D object, it is very rare that you will actually see individual lines, right? It's not like I'm a cartoon character and I have a big black line that separates my insides from my outsides, right? When you see me, I just exist. My skin just starts and then it stops, right? So that is what we're gonna do. So we're gonna take the flat of our pencil. I'm gonna look at my object, and I understand just from looking at it here, with how the light is touching it, there will be a loose shadow from this top here to here, and that's because the bowl curves in. Right? When the bowl curves in, there tends to be a little bit of a shadow. There's also a shadow down here where the curve of the bottom of the bowl is. Right? All of this will be shadowed in too. I'm just outlining the shadow. I'm not even filling in the shadow yet. I'm literally just outlining it. There's also going to be some shadow here. Right? It might kind of zigzag a bit actually because of the texture of the bowl. And there's going to be some shadow here. And there's going to be some shadow down here. Okay? How's that looking so far? Good? Thanks. Just fishing for compliments, no big deal. All right, now I'm going to take the side of my pencil and I'm going to start lightly fading in that shadow. I'm going to make the shadow all the same tone right now. It's all going to have the same value. You guys remember what that word means, value? We talked about it with the presentation. What does it mean? Yeah, absolutely. The range of shadow or darkness from light to dark, right? There. And I'm just like fanning it out. Okay, when I say fanning, I mean like I'm not establishing a hard line. Okay, I'm just making it kind of like a feather. Okay, I'm also going to feather some shading down here. Okay, so now I'm gonna just fan that out a bit more. And I'm realizing my bowl is not solid white, right? My bowl has like color and pigment to it. So really, I shouldn't have any white in my bowl unless there is white on the bowl, or if there is a lot of light that's shining really brightly on it, okay? So I'm actually gonna take that pencil and I'm gonna lightly, maybe even a little bit more lightly than everywhere else, I'm gonna just put a little bit of a grayscale there, okay? I'm gonna color in the rest of it. So now I'm gonna go up a pencil. Instead of an HB, I'm just gonna go to a B. I'm gonna sharpen her up, because I like my tools sharp, like my wit. Okay? Oh. This is just a B. Okay, so then you can go one up. A 2B is fine. Okay? Okay, now I'm going to go back to those areas where they were supposed to be a little bit darker. And I'm gonna beef it up with this pencil, with my darker pencil. And because the lead is softer and darker, it's really gonna make it stand out. It really will. Okay, now I wanna make sure that I see that there's an edge, but I don't wanna do a line. So using the flat of the pencil, I'm actually using the edge of the pencil to establish that there's a line. And then I'm gonna fan it out into the rest of the shadow. Do you see how soft that is? Do you also see how I'm not pushing hard with this pencil? Right? How many people, when they want something darker, do they just apply more pressure? Yeah, it's okay if you do. It's okay. That's like the first thing that people teach you, right, when you're drawing. Now, we're gonna do the opposite of that. That feels like the most natural thing to do, but actually, building it up slowly and softly makes it a lot easier to blend, and it makes it so much smoother when you're using a blending stomp, which I'm gonna show you how to use very soon. Who has a blending stomp of their own, by the way? Does anyone? A couple people? Okay, if you don't have a blending stomp, I'm gonna teach you another tool that everyone can have access to. So, we're going to take that pencil, that darker pencil, and we're going to beef up that shadow. Remember, we knew where the darker shadow was supposed to be? We're going to use the edge of our pencil, and we're going to try and hide where the lines are. You're going to go? Okay, so we got our bowl. Now we're gonna talk about a blending stomp. Okay, because I'm gonna start doing some blending. Now when you're blending, that doesn't mean you're finished. You actually should be going back in to like reestablish edges, but we wanna do some blending because it's getting a little sloppy. Okay, so first thing, this here, okay, this is a little piece of particle board with little pieces of sandpaper on it, okay? Sandpaper is how you clean your blending stomps. Okay, so what you do is you get some sandpaper. You don't have to buy these bougie little pad things. You can always just go to the hardware store and buy like a pack of sandpaper. I would get something that's a fine grain or like a medium grain. Don't get anything that's too hard because then you're gonna break your stomp. And you're gonna take your stomp and you're gonna little twist it in. Okay, like that, twisty. The stomp. So this is a stomp, that's what this is for. Yeah. So you would use it to clean your stomp. Some people could have and probably could use it for like a graphite stick, like a woodless pencil, and that's a pencil that's all lead. Yeah, one of those. I wouldn't. I wouldn't, because I find that these are way more useful for the blending stomps, and you can use a regular sharpener for those, right? So that's what I would do. So now that that's all clean, I'm going to take my blending stomp, and I'm going to start blending. Now I'm going to be doing these in small circular motions and very, very soft. And when I say very soft, I mean I want you to picture an adorable little baby. Okay, you see an adorable little baby with big chubby cheeks and it's going ah go go ga ga go, right? Like that. Then you take a little feather and you're gonna tickle its forehead. You're like, oh little baby, right? That's how soft, right? Now for some reason, when kids see these things and they're like, oh, magic blending stick, they stab the baby over and over again, okay? And no, but this is what happens when you don't blend nicely. So say you've got your blending, right? Oh, my nice instant grayscale, it's so beautiful. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna ruin it. I'm gonna go, right? Now, does that look nice? Because it's rushed, lazy, and angry. I already did it. Don't worry about me. I did it today. Okay, so the next thing I want to say is another mistake kids make when they're blending stuff is they take their pencil and instead of doing a nice consistent blend where there's no space in between, they do this. Yeah. Now I'm gonna use the magic blending stick and it'll make it look beautiful and 3D, right? No, this is what happens when you use a magic blending stick wrong. It just smudges it. Okay, that's not how you blend. But if you take your magic blending stick, your blending stomp, okay? We're gonna do it clean here because we don't wanna mess it up with our aggressive attempt there, okay? And we do soft, small, circular motions. Let's get... Might say, Miss Grande, I'm not fancy and I don't have a blending stomp. I can't use one of these magical blending sticks. And I go, you know what? I relate to that because being an arts a lot of the time. So, what do? You take a piece of tissue from a Kleenex box, like so. Okay? Can you guys see what I was blending? Oh yeah, there. Then you take your finger and you wrap it in paper in your Kleenex. And it works just as well. You see? There we go. So, the only thing I will say, please don't blend with just your finger. Okay, there's a reason for this. Does anyone want to guess why? Because your finger oils, absolutely. So first of all, everyone will catch you if you decide to rob a bank because there'll be evidence of your fingerprints. Second of all, the oil in your hands actually traps it onto the paper. And then, I don't know if everyone's had this experience, but sometimes if you touch your drawing and then you cover over where your finger was, you'll have a fingerprint stuck in your drawing and you can't erase it. It's been sealed in. Okay? That comes from your oils trapping the lead on your drawing, which is why I only keep my hands on the white part of the drawing. I never actually touch what I'm drawing. But, Miss Grande, it's a 3D object, and 3D objects aren't soft like they're a cloud, right? So then I go back with my pencil, and I'm going to use that edge of my pencil again. I'm going to re-establish an edge. So now I'm going to blend in the edge with that side of my pencil.
Okay, so we talked about bringing those edges back in. I'm going to take my 2B pencil and I'm going to do quickly the same thing on the other side. Now, I don't know if you can really see on camera here, but you're going to start developing like over time as you touch your page. You're going to have marks that show up either from pencil transfers or whatever. So every once in a while I like to just go in with my vinyl eraser and just do a quick tidy. Because remember, when we are handing work in, there's an entire section that we mark in our rubric that talks about your presentation. That doesn't just go for like if your page has tears in it or if you've rushed your work. It also just goes with like upkeep, if there's dents in the paper, if there's pencil marks where there's not supposed to be pencil marks. Everything's supposed to be intentional. So we're just going to do a quick little tidy. You can even use your eraser to help shape some of the outside shapes there. See? Okay, I'm going to take that pencil now and just go right, let's just do a quick sharp. There we go. Okay, and we're going to do a quick kind of reinforcing that edge, but not to the point that it's dark enough to be its own line. So we're just going to fan out the edge into the rest of the piece. Reinforce that line here. Now the reason we're going to reinforce it is because we're going to blend it out. So we're just making sure that the edge is established. I use that word a lot, established. The reason is because we want it to feel like a real object. There we go. Okay. Good. Let's get that blending stomp out. We've got our blending stomp. Right? Soft, small, circular motions. Because we've already, brought that edge out to a nice solid edge, all we have to do is make sure that we blend the shading into it, and it'll just end up feeling a lot more realistic, a lot more 3D. One of the reasons why I like to do circular motions too, it doesn't have to be like crazy, like we don't want to exaggerate the circular motions. They're very small circles. And the reason I like it is because it's like you're taking the lead this way and then you're kind of looping it upon itself so you don't get, kind of like how these pencil marks are, right? Like where you get lines, like we don't want lines because there's not lines on the actual object. This can sometimes happen where your edges kind of disappear. We're just going to reinforce that once we finish blending. So I'm just flipping this because I'm making as much as I can because shadows are really subtle. Up my pencil, so I'm going from a 2B, I'm going to go up to a 4B. Okay, so you're going to notice that your 4B is a lot softer, it's a lot easier to blend, but it's also significantly darker, and that's what we're going to try to do now. We're going to beef up that shadow. Making edges pop up again, like after you've blended them once, like if you like how it looks with the solid edge, like how I like it, I'm just going to let it stay. You don't have to keep going back and forth. You don't have to finish with the blender. And I really want this edge to stand out. Okay. Now the last thing I'm going to do light here coming down, and there's going to be some light here. And there's going to be a little bit of light over here. So I'm going to go in there with my kneading eraser. That's what this is. This is your kneading eraser. And they're called a kneading eraser because you knead them, right? Like dough, like they're kneadable, right? So you can separate them. This is actually cleaning it, or I'm going to say cleaning with quotations around it. It'll never be like as shiny and new as it was when you unwrapped it. But basically what you're doing is you're taking the lead from the outside and you're just putting it on the inside so that it all kind of gets distributed evenly. It's kind of gross if you think about it, but I really like these. I'm going to make it into the shapes of the shadow or of the light that I'm seeing. It's kind of like these pointy shapes. You can also do like edges like this, right? And then you can kind of create like points, or you can just like dab it over and over again. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to just establish this little point here. I'm just going to make this little point. Okay, I'm going to do this side first though. So I'm seeing that there's some light sources here. Right, you guys see that? See, you only have the white or lightness where there is light and whiteness in your picture on your actual object, right? There we go. So, what do we think? That's my bowl. I think it's probably as good as it's going to get without the details that normally are. Good. I think that's everything. If you have any questions, free to send me a message over Teams chat. And I will talk to you guys next class. Have a good night. Talk to you soon.